All right, guys, welcome to Meet Team Black Coffee. As Pete's voice of God said, one of the most successful and popular DJs in our scene. It's been a pretty incredible story, and maybe a longer story than a lot of people think. As we were saying backstage, he's a 12-year overnight success. So we're going to chat with some of the people responsible for creating and helping develop this amazing career, and hopefully we're gonna learn a few things about if you have people out there who are aspiring Black Coffees or aspiring Lionels or aspiring Davids who want to emulate the same success, and hopefully we'll have a few teachings for you. So we're going to start by just quickly getting each of the panel members just to quickly introduce themselves, and then we'll get things moving after that. So.
Hi everyone, I'm Amaru, and I'm the pretty one. That's yeah, I'm kidding. I've been working with Black Coffee for some time now. I'm based in South Africa and still run operations from there together with the rest of the team. Yeah.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm David Levy from WME. And I lead the Black Coffee booking team at the company.
Hello, my name is Lionel, and I've been working with Black Coffee for quite a long time now. And I'm doing the management, and I'm very happy and grateful to be here as well.
Hi, I'm Black Coffee.
Yeah. We'll just leave it there, I guess, you know. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Yann. I'm the owner of Ushuaïa and High, and really proud and happy to be part of the Black Coffee team.
Amazing. Okay, so I think we're going to just start with a bit of history and story, actually. And Nati, if you maybe wouldn't mind picking this one up. As we say, obviously, Black Coffee is one of the biggest DJs in the world now, but it's been a long road to get to where you are, and a lot of that time was as you were building up your profile, building up your career as an artist in South Africa. So it would be good just to have a little context of where you started, when Amaru joined the team, you guys early days, and then how the other people kind of joined the team chronologically as we went on. So yeah, if you could just give us a little a history, that would be great.
For me, being involved in music professionally, I would say around 98. I was part of a group. We were studying music, and we kind of like formed a group, and we got a recording deal while we were students with a label that was from London, and we started releasing music with them. But on the side, I was DJing. So I was a music student who was a DJ. So as a DJ, I've always had a dream of having my own career, and creating my own music that was not really connected or different from what we were doing as a group. So fast forward to a few years later, I started working on my work, like the album, something that would have been my album. I started like doing a lot of remixes and a lot of bootlegs, actually. One of them ended up being on radio in South Africa, and I got into a lot of trouble. A friend of mine who was also a DJ was working in a radio station, and he put it on radio without even me knowing, and it kind of like blew up. And then I got a call from Gallo, a record label, major record label in South Africa. And I walked into a room, there were like 10 guys in suits, and I was alone. I was threatened. But I explained to them, for me it wasn't even about, I wasn't selling the song, it was just, I was learning, I took making bootlegs as a way of learning. And every song that I could like hear that this could be a remix. I would just do it. And I started like that, you know, and eventually I had an album which came out in 2005. With my experience with the band, the group that I was with, Shana, I had seen how hard it was to be an artist. And so with my album, I didn't want to sign a recording deal. I wanted to create my own record label and license the music, license the album, just create a different relationship to what I had before. So my first album came out licensed to a bigger record label in South Africa called Kalawa, which had a joint venture relationship with Universal Music. And then 2 years later, I released the second album, same deal. And when I was now working on the third album, I spoke to the guys that had licensed my album, and I said to them, I want to go on my own. I want to have a direct relationship with Universal Music. And so I kind of like needed people to work with. But I had started already on the second album licensing songs overseas. Lionel, next to me, used to work for a record label called Real Tone. And Real Tone was based in Paris, and they liked some of the stuff I was doing. They licensed the music. So I kind of like started releasing songs outside my country. But back home, I didn't have an office. I didn't have anyone working. And then Amaru sent me a message on Facebook. I didn't know him at the time. He sent me a message. You know, he was a big fan. He was following what I was doing, and you know, and he was like silently like helping me. You know, he created the Black Coffee Facebook page without even my knowledge. So he sent me a message. He was like, "Look, I've done this page. Just check it out." You know, and the page had like a big following already, and he was running it, and he was like posting the music. He was talking to the people, you know. So we started communicating, you know, and few months later, maybe even a year, he was like, "Look, I can't continue at school. I don't have funds to continue at school, so I need a job." You know, and I thought there's no better person, you know, to work, you know, to start something with. And so we started working with Amaru, I think it was 2009. And then we released an album called Homebrewed. Homebrewed became the biggest success in terms of just the footprint. Some of the biggest songs are on that album. Even the song that was recently released by Drake, it's on that album. We licensed so many songs out of that album internationally. And my vision with that at the time was I wanted to have an international footprint, but I couldn't compete with the international labels. So the best way for me was to do all these collaborations and licensing deals with them, you know. So everyone who was big at the time in my scene was marketing me instead of being against me, you know. And in South Africa, we have a culture of doing albums. And internationally at the time, maybe even still now, people were doing singles. So I would do an album, and then I remember at some point I had top 3 on track source of only my songs, you know, because the album was kind of hot. Kind of. It was like a special album. So I had all these labels licensing, fighting against each other, basically competing, trying to outsell the records, but they were all from one place, you know. And so in a year, I would have like 5 #1 songs on track source. And it kind of like helped build the name at the time, you know. And we started doing more licensing, and then we picked up gigs because of that with Lionel. Lionel started doing gigs, I think, from 2008, 2009, started doing gigs. And the footprint grew from there. Wow. To where it is now.
And so you're working with Amaru at this point, and when did Lionel? I'm assuming you're the next person to join the team.
So as you just said, it was in 2008 as well. Basically, I had a record from Black Coffee back then because I was doing trip in South Africa because our label was doing well there, and we had this amazing release. Because I had a record label, and it was great. As you said, it was #1 on Traxsource. But then I was also managing a nightclub, and I was like, we need to book this guy, you know? And he came, and to afford the travel, I had to find another show next to Paris. And so he came on a trip for 2 shows. And as soon as he left the club in the morning, he rocked the club. Like, he smashed the club. So I was like, oh my God, that's a storm.
Standard.
I'm going to call the other promoter as well to understand what's going on. So I called the other promoter, and the promoter is like, oh my God, it's a storm. So then at that moment, I was releasing a record. It was playing amazingly, and we started to get closer, you know, Nati, Amaru, and myself, basically, while he was growing in Africa, we were trying to grow internationally. And that's how everything pretty much started. You know.
Yeah, and then I'm guessing, David, you the next steps. Could you just talk about how you got involved and how you were brought into the team?
My first knowledge of Natty was dancing my arse off to him on the terrace of DC10.
A few of us have that memory.
It's a really strong memory because he's such a distinct sound. It's so different. And I've always been interested in finding people who have a uniqueness about them. And it was just incredible. And I heard him play quite a few times. We got to meet. He was then sort of talking to others in the company. And as things grew, it just made sense in the end for us to put the biggest team possible around him. I think there's 5 or 6 of us doing it every day with them. But yeah, we're very happy to be involved. I mean, I've been doing, I was trying to remember this earlier. I think I booked my first DJ in 1986 or something like that. I'm definitely the oldest one here. And I've never known a guy so ready to work, so reliable, so disciplined, so sort of committed. For the guy who does as many gigs as he does, there is no drama. You know, it's all incredibly smooth, and we like to think we sort of help bring more structure. But to be honest, these guys are very disciplined in the first place.
And that's key, I guess. That's one of the key. We'll talk about reasons for success, but I think maybe that's the first one, is this organization and discipline and work ethic as well. So, Yann, and I guess as the final edition.
The last one, yeah.
So maybe if you can just, talk a little bit about High and just, your role there, and also, why you decided to go with Black Coffee for your opening night, I believe, right? Yeah. Okay, so if you can tell us a little bit.
The thing, it's super easy, as Lionel said before, he rocks the club. So when you're a promoter or you own a club or you want to have your club full and make it work, you call Black Coffee and this is done. Now, the thing is, it's a few years. I was listening and I was following a little bit his career, and I was seeing that he was growing each time more. Obviously, his DC10 apparitions were really well known here in the island and a point of talk in the island in the last few years. And I was trying to establish a contact, so I was calling regularly William Morris to see what was happening with Black Coffee and if there was any kind of possibility to do something with him. Before last summer, David, present, arranged a little conversation between me and Lionel to talk a little bit about this. And we saw that there was a lot of points and a lot of wishes that we had together, and there was a possibility to create a residency for him in the island.
Mm-hmm. And
Sorry, Lionel, go ahead.
I have a funny story about that, if I may, you know. So I had a coffee with him, and he was like, listen, I think it's maybe time to jump on a train, and I would like you to be resident of my club. I was like, oh, sure, where is the club? So the club is not there yet. I'm like, okay. Do you have some images? No, but it's going to be amazing. So I left the feeling was amazing, but I left the place, and I was happy to go back to Nati, Black Coffee, to tell him about my meeting. But it's like if you want to talk about something that is not there. So what do you say? Are you excited? Are you suspicious? So, you know. So anyway, sorry.
You're playing in the car park. No, literally.
So yes, it was a big bet for them also, because it's a big bet when you jump from being a DJ or a guest to have a residency in Ibiza, and for the first year it's really complicated. You start to be a competitor for the industry and for the other DJs resident who have their own parties. So you're not a friend that you can bring as a guest, but you are a competitor. So you can be a menace. So then to start booking and to start working, and for the first season it has been really hard for us, because to build a team around him and to find the right guest and to find the right support for the club has been a strong year. Now for the second season we are I think way more established, and the party is way more well known, and it's going to be much easier. It's looked really well.
So what do you guys have planned for this season? Just quickly, maybe Nati, you want to talk about it?
Music.
Okay. And dancing? My two favorite things. I'm there.
Good music.
Because you got a lot of pretty amazing kind of guests, you know.
Yeah, we've been very lucky, you know, to kind of like have first the team that we have, you know, that is have the access but also accessible, you know. I mean, the lineup last year was out of this world.
Yeah.
You know, and this year it's even better, you know. I don't know, but maybe I'm a bit naive. I don't like the word competition very much. You know, I think this is one of the reasons why the lineup is like that, because it doesn't matter for us if you play next door or you play on the same night. If we feel like your sound belongs on our night, then, you know, we'd like to have you, you know. So I'm not here to, you know, to be the king of the island. You know, I'm just here to share the music and kind of like share the part of my culture, you know, where I come from. And I strongly believe music is about love and like sharing the love, and that's the reason I'm here. You know, I'm not here to take over.
Thank you. So just to kind of talk a little bit about, you know, the team and how it works. I think you guys have quite an interesting situation in that, I guess, you have David, obviously he's one of the most experienced agents in the business, and then you have Amaru and Lionel kind of working in a dual management, like a team management role, and also working in different areas. So that's quite an unusual setup. So I'd just be interested to know, you know, how that works from day to day. How do you communicate? Do you divide tasks to certain areas of the team? I don't know. Amaru, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, it's like a jet lag operation, you know, because you've got me in South Africa, and then you've got Lionel, who's on New York time, and that's a 6-hour difference. Yeah. Where's Anna? Czech Republic.
Yeah, we have people in Czech Republic.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, obviously, in the beginning, when we, and I'd like to say when we started, even if it's not when we started, you know, we always had a vision of having Nati, you know, be an international success, but we knew that we could not do that without covering our home turf, you know. So most of the stuff was happening in South Africa, just, you know, to, I guess, fine-tune the brand and clear the vision, you know. And now things have changed, where now we're seeing a lot more traction internationally. So then the tasks have changed, there's more traction happening internationally, which shifts a lot of responsibility to Lionel and his team, and then and the stuff that is still required in South Africa, then that's where I come in with the team. So my focus mainly is to deal with brand relationships as well as business affairs. And then when Lionel does the overall management from, dealing with David, A&R, just basically advancing, Nathi's career. And obviously David works closely with Lionel, on the touring side.
Yeah, I mean, the... Lionel has a very hands-on approach. Actually, in all the years I've been working, he's one of the managers, I think, who has most learned how to use a resource like us. We prepare an update of the date sheet every Monday. We prepare an update of offers every Tuesday. We have a team call every Wednesday. And that's the guys in New York, the guys in London, all of Lionel's team. Yeah. There's constantly emails and thousands of WhatsApps. Usually at 20 at a time, Lionel. And
that sounds familiar.
Yeah. And but the communication, in our company we believe you can't over communicate, and certainly Lionel has embraced that. And so what happens is it's very hard for opportunities to be missed. Additionally, Lionel is very keen to ensure that every show is relative to one of the strategies we have, because we have different strategies for different areas of the business. And so quite often we'll find that Lionel will have already vetted or spoken to a promoter himself, and handed it over. And that's, for an agency the scale of ours, that's so helpful. When you've got the volume of inquiries we have, how to filter is one of the challenges. But when the management team you're working with are sort of self-filtering and then handing over, it makes it much easier to know what it is you're all trying to get done. I think you only have to look at the guy's diary. I've had DJs that I represent ring me up and go, do we all have to work this hard? It's a choice. It's Natty's choice. But it's really an incredible process. I mean, I think in May we did 24 shows in May or something. It's insane.
24, 25.
And, I think it's very smart because we're trying to accommodate all the different growth patterns in his career. There's the underground thing, there's the VIP thing, there's the mainstream thing, there's your commercial opportunities. And to blend those and still retain an authenticity, that's really a skill. And I think that's where Lionel really drives.
And thank you. And basically, for me, the whole management approach, since you talked about that, it starts with understanding the artist, who he is, where he comes from, the emotions behind the music, the feeling behind the music, because it's first a music story, and then understanding what does it say, what does it convey, what is the message, and then once you understand that, and I really mean it, it's very important to understand that, then you try to get to the audience, and we are lucky and grateful to have an incredible artist who has this diversity of audiences, and in every territories and in every cities. And the fact that Amaru and Nathi have been very, very active in Africa, I also use this as a leverage, as a unique story to make sure we show and cultivate our difference. And then, it's all about dispatching and trying to grow the fan base. That's basically the idea here.
Yeah, look, it's just to add, it's a process of combining every aspect, whether it's the brand relationships, it's the bookings, it's social media, the entire brand. What we try to do is, at the end of the day, everything needs to, come back to one place, and it needs to speak to what our message or what the vision is, So, even though there's these different tasks, there's still other people who are managing social media, and there's, third-party relationships that we have, whether it's VaynerMedia, whether it's the PR companies. It's just a huge, operation that really requires a team this big, Yeah.
Something to say, Lionel?
Yeah, just one
course.
little thing. So basically, to break it down, you have on one side the artist that you need to understand, as I just said, and then you have the fans on the other side. And there is two ways, basically, to reach out to the fan and to keep a flow between the artist and the fan. There is the classic way, where you're going to go through label, where you're going to go through promoters, clubs, majors, residency and press. That's what I call the classic way. So it's very important to understand that and to master it as much as you can. But today we are in a new world, and there is another way now that I call the new way. It's do it yourself, which means direct to fan. And that's something that we're really excited and that we love, is basically creating content and then distributing it ourselves on our own to the fan directly and grow the base and understanding what they like. And I could talk about it forever, so I don't want to hijack the
No, please, this is why we're here.
Just to add on what Lionel's saying, I think I started coming here like 4 years ago. And the first time that I came here, the first time ever, and I was playing at Seco Loco, I had never, ever heard of a place called DC10 in my entire life.
Right, wow.
So Lionel is excited. He says there's this club. It's really, really iconic. It's a big deal. And some friends of mine from South Africa are like, wow, you playing there? We're gonna come with you. And I'm like, okay. No, like, I didn't know, how iconic the place was. And one of the reasons for that is we had cultivated a career in South Africa, that is quite strong, and over the years we had managed to have that balance, Lionel spoke about me doing the gig in Paris and in Lyon, when I was doing those gigs, I was literally like sacrificing a lot, because back home I was a DJ that was paid quite well, but the vision was much more bigger. I knew that I have to start planting seeds. I have to start like making these sacrifices, and I do like a lot of shows at home. Then I know the next 2 weekends I'm gonna go, do gigs with Lionel. And like Amaru was saying, and now it's the other way around, So the vision has always been bigger, So when I come to the island, everyone is like, oh, you're the new DJ. Like, oh, well done, And I'm like, yeah, I'm new. Because it also helped me so much as someone who didn't know much about this place. I was starting from the beginning, I was like literally learning, and I met a guy who came after I played. He came and, I was very nervous, and it was packed, and he was trying to say hi, and I was trying to pack my bag, and he was like, yo, man, I'm trying to say, I'm like, yeah, man, just wait, And it was Seth Troxler. And I didn't know who Seth Troxler was. But Seth Troxler is actually the guy who got me that gig. Wow. And he's the one who got me to play before him, but I didn't know who he was, because I came from a different world. And for me, that world is the world of music, and it was never about names or big brands or big clubs. It was just find a place where I can play music. Let's just play music. So when Lionel told me, I was like, okay, let's do it, and then I started coming, and then I understood the significance, I started doing other Seco Loco gigs outside in New York, in LA, and then I really understood everything, but the vision, and I had to, because at the time, Lionel was educating me about the scene, and he would say, this is how things are done on the island, and And it used to like bother me a little bit, you know. Yeah, this is how things are done. And one day I was like, yeah, but can we tell our story, you know? Can we just approach things our own way, you know? Fine, you know. I remember the first time I wanted to post like a gig guide. No, like a flyer for the gigs. And he was like, no, it's not a cool look. You know, no one really does this. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. You know, so it took us a while to also align, you know, and understand the vision, because there's things that are done on the island, but there's things that I want to do that are not done on the island, you know, because our story is a very unique story, and the music that we bring, every time I'm about to play, I'm like, are these people going to understand these songs, you know? So I'm never sure. Everywhere I go, it's a new territory. Even if I'm, like the entire season for me, you know, who's in the room? Were they here last weekend? You know, are they going to love this music? You know, so it's been such a very, very, very unique journey. And there's a lot of things that we're doing that are not done by everyone else. And we are now very comfortable as a team to start doing these things, you know, and be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. Even though the scene would think, no, I would not do a song with so and so. I'm like, it's a nice song.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do a remix. I want to remix an Alicia Keys song. You know, it's beautiful.
It's great music.
You know, and because that's why I'm here. I'm here for the music.
Yeah. Can I ask one question? How did you feel when you did that first DC10 show?
It was not good.
It wasn't good?
No.
Right, okay, that's interesting. How come? Just because?
Because after all the hype, you know, everyone's saying to me, this is what it is, this is Ibiza, this is like the place for dance music, you know. So, and then I started listening to like everyone, you know, like I didn't know what to play, you know. I remember I went to a friend of mine, Temba. He works on radio. I said, listen, man, give me your biggest tunes on radio. You know, I want to have a folder of your biggest tunes. You know, I want to be ready for anything. Yeah. So I was totally lost. You know, not that I played radio songs, but I was not ready for the island. Yeah. And the second time I played, I was ready. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's when you saw David Levy down the front with his top off.
That's when
Getting stuck right into some Afro house there. I was next to you, naked.
Oh, that was you.
That's me, yeah. Hey, it was cold, okay? You know? Natural shrinkage. Easy. Especially with the African guys around, you know what I mean? Anyway. Christ, dick jokes at IMS. Anyway, okay, so time is pushing on, and we've got a lot to talk about. So, I want one thing. We're going to finish on. I want you all to come up with your favorite black coffee moment from your career. You don't have to do it now. You can have a little time to think. I'm going to pass over to the audience for some questions, unless there's something very, and we could literally talk for hours here. If there's something particularly pressing that you would like to talk about first, quickly, or if not, we can have questions and then maybe finish off. It's up to you guys. We'll hand it over to the crowd. Okay. Any questions for Team Black Coffee? Here we go. This gentleman here.
Hi, my name's Chris Hilton, and I'm from the UK. I'm a massive fan of black coffee. I've been for the last 3 or 4 years.
Bless you, man.
Thank you. You said that you wasn't done with the island, and you have a lot more ideas. It's fantastic to be working alongside High, and the production's amazing inside the club. But if you had the support of everyone on the island, what would be your dream show? If it was completely down to you to arrange the whole production, the location, the system, the people the guys that you could have DJing around you, what would be your perfect scenario?
like a massive closing party that's
Yeah.
like festival-like, with everyone
No,
playing.
no limitations, just completely something from your mind.
Don't understand?
You don't understand.
I think he was answering the question, no?
Yeah, something, if you could do anything on the island in your own way to represent your sound, the Afro sound, because...
Got you.
Yeah.
There's a show that I did in South Africa in 2012. It's called Africa Rising. We did it in a stadium with a 24-piece orchestra. Basically, we transcribed music for the orchestra and all the songs that I'd worked on at the time. It's a 2-hour show. We had a live orchestra, we had live singers and a band playing. For me, that is the ultimate black coffee, experience. That's something I would love to bring to the island. With the newer songs that I've done, obviously now, create that show and showcase the catalog of the stuff that I've done before.
One other question as well.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's cool.
Yeah, go ahead. Go on. It was a good question.
Thank you. I know you represent the Afro beat sound, the African vibe, but would you ever venture maybe into another genre?
Yeah. I don't even think I represent the Afro. I don't represent any sound. Like I was saying earlier. I'm with the music. Like one of my favorite songs on my sets right now is a remix by Colch of Lionel Grammar. It's nothing Afro. So I play everything that I love. I play music that I love. It's not really Afro. And then production-wise, I'm there as well. I've been working in studio with different artists, producing music for them. Like I'm working on Puff Daddy on his hip hop album. I'm working on Casey's album, Yuna. I'm helping different people musically, and it's not Afro. It's just music.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. 2 very good questions. Would anybody else like to ask a question? You're too scared. This chap here in the front row. Just there. All right. Sorry, dude. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Justin Rivera, and I attend Berkeley, Valencia, and I'm an artist, and I'm into digital marketing and social media management. I have a question regarding streaming and placement on playlists. In a previous panel, they were discussing the importance of building your own playlist, and I wanted to know your thoughts on that, or versus trying to get a playlist placement.
We're currently working on we have been for the past 4 years on a platform to distribute content and music in Africa. It's called Gongbox. I see the future of sharing content and music different. With my experience, where I come from, like I was explaining with the record label, how I've always wanted to own my master. It's cool to do it, but I think it's better if we encourage everyone to do it. So the future for me, from where I come from, in Africa, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get artists to own their masters and be able to create their own content. Make a platform where it is easier for an artist to do a song overnight, if they can. The following day it's available. The making of the song is available. If there's a music video, it's available. If there's a making of the video, it's available. If there's a pop-up performance in a mall, in a shopping center, in in the corner, basking somewhere. It's available. For me, that's the future. I'm in the middle of recording companies. You know, I have a signed deal with a recording company that I'm doing an album for. And it's one of the most exciting albums for me because of where I am musically. But after that album, I'm trying to create a platform for everyone, not just for myself, where artists can understand more the importance of content, the importance of connecting with your fans, and because I feel if you were to compare my social media following to social media of any record company, I am stronger. So it means I connect to the people much stronger. And that's where the people are today. Back in the day, it was easier for a record company to say, we'll take so much percentage, we're gonna market for you. Today, I'm like, who are you marketing to? Because all these people are following me, you know. So for me, that's the future. And those who don't have enough following, we kind of like create content for them. We curate the content for them so that they can also start growing numbers. Basically, every cent you put, it's towards yourself. You know, you start now, in 5 years down the line, your numbers have grown, your content has grown, content creation has grown, and everything around you, you are building it for yourself every year, or rather every day. You know, for me, that is the future of music.
Invest in yourself.
Thank you.
Okay, sadly, we're out of time. The red light is flashing at me. But I'd like to finish on a positive note. If we can just go from you guys, from one side to the other. I just want to hear your favorite Black Coffee moment.
It was when he finally decided to answer my Facebook message.
I noticed that you've blocked me.
Look, it's every stalker's dream come true.
Exactly. Brilliant.
You know.
All right.
You know what's really funny? Those messages are still there. I went through them the other day. Like, they're all still there.
You need to share them. Yeah. Okay, David.
One. I guess it would have to be the Troxy at the end of January. We came out of the Ibiza season, wanted to prove that we had really achieved a step forward. So rather than go and play any one of a number of club shows we could have done, we went and found a 2,500 capacity theatre in East London called the Troxy, put it on sale, and sold 2,500 tickets, I think 2 weeks up front in the middle of winter. You know, did our own VIP, and then at the end of the night, to see one of the most diverse crowds I've ever seen at a London show.
Yes.
That was really special for me.
Amazing. Yes. Lionel, quickly. Sorry, so I'm getting shouted at.
So when it comes to me, special moment are every time really we are on a travel and we go to LA or studio recording. There is so much going on and we're learning so much that I come back home and I feel like a superstar, you know. and you know, I'm inspired so much, and so it's pretty much every time we are on a trip, and you know, that's what I like. I really like to learn. Yeah.
Great. Yann?
Yeah, I would say last year we had a few amazing moments in High. I think the last song of every night when everybody is with the hands in the air and he's sharing his love and his music to all this community in the club are every week amazing. So I can't name one better than the other one, but I think we had lots of great moments last year.
And finally, Black Coffee. Do you have a favorite Black Coffee moment?
Wow. I have been so blessed, man. You know, like every now and then I look back at where I come from. Where I come from, you don't get this far, you know. But I was always that odd kid, you know, not a lot of friends, who used to just talk nonsense. You know, like one day I'm gonna go be a DJ in New York and, you know, and everyone loves, you know. You fast forward to today, you know, residency at High, the collaborations that I'm doing, you know, the Africa Rising show that I spoke about, you know, to sit here on this panel, you know, and be part of this panel and be welcomed on this island entirely, you know, to have my own night at High and have an audience that come because they understand the story and what I'm trying to do, you know, and to have an amazing team that I have, you know, because I'm a little bit crazy. Like I'll be on a flight and I start writing things down and I land and I call Lionel. I'm like, let's make a movie. And he's like, okay, I'm listening. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah. This is the idea, and we do it. And you know, so I have a team that really encourages me and my crazy thoughts. You know, I'd like to think that I'm fearless, and sometimes my team also now is more fearless than me. You know, the other day Lionel sent me a list saying, he didn't say anything actually, he sent me a list, Beyonce, Coldplay, Pharrell. I'm like, what's going on? He says, no, these are the people that are going to be on your album. I'm like, how? We're going to do it. You know, so it has come to that point where we are like team no fear. You know, we like whatever we want, we go for it. You know, and
amazing.
Not that we win all the time, but we have the heart, you know, to always go for whatever we want. So my entire career is a highlight for me.
Amazing. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Team No Fear, a.k.a. Team Black Coffee. Thank you.